Okay, so I know that you have extensive sailing experience in these very small little boats, and a question I'm sure a lot of people are curious about is how do you deal with the potential of capsizing? Isn't that a lot more risky in a boat your size?
Yeah, well, it's true, but on the hand, every boat has the potential of capsizing. Like 2018, it was 50 years ago since the first single-handed race around the world. So they have like a retro race, they used the sextant, and it was 18 boats who started.
Oh yeah, the Golden Globe.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah. Lots of.
And a lot of boats, they had to be like 30 foot, about 35 feet long, something like that.
That general size.
And four made it, The other one, many of them got capsized.
Yeah, it seemed like every week there was a new one being capsized.
So, I mean, if you go down in the Roaring Forties and places like that, boats do capsize.
Just part of the game, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been there too with my boat. It was a 20-foot boat I built in my mother's basement. And near Cape Horn, a wave hit the side and the boat capsized. And next week, it's a terrible storm. Really, maybe one of the strongest I've been into. We just started like all of a sudden, and then it kept blowing. So I thought, well, not to worry, because when it started suddenly, they just stopped suddenly too.
Oh, okay.
But this just kept blowing, and after 4 hours, it pitch pulled. So it can happen. But
now, what is it like being in the boat when that happens?
Well, in a small boat, and what you say, in my boat, I keep things in a place, You see, like the spawners in one place, and everything is in its place,
Yeah. No.
And so, and the mast was short. So at that time, I got a lot of water in the boat. Well, maybe not that lot, but maybe 3-4 buckets of water.
Yeah.
And then it came back on the same level, even keel. Nothing more happened. So that was 2 times, and then one more, with that boat. It was in March '76. I left Nantucket, but I came out on the George Bank, and you shouldn't really do that because it's really shallow,
Ah, yeah.
And then the boat capsized too, but then I was better prepared.
Yeah.
And then I had a 19-foot boat I sailed around Cape Horn with. Everything went out Orion, but it was also some very bad storms, Later I came into the Falkland Islands, and there was a meteorologist there who'd been there, and he made up some kind, and I showed him my position and say that in general that was like 70 knot winds there,
Wow.
But then later when I came up near Uruguay, outside Uruguay, there was a big wave coming, and it didn't really capsize, but it was down to like 160 degrees. But these small boats, everything is in its place.
Less stuff breaks, you think?
Yeah, and you can't get thrown around. I got a safety belt on me, and 1989 I sailed a 15-foot boat from France to Newfoundland. Didn't capsize. And 2011 I sailed another 15-foot boat from Ireland to Martinique. Didn't capsize.
Is there a specific situation that has tended to lead to capsizing? Is it the steepness of the waves or the height of the waves? The stacking up of them?
It's just, that it's like, for example, now I lived on St. Helena. It came big breakers into the shore, you couldn't really go ashore, because the waves were so big.
Yeah.
But they came all the way from storms up in Iceland. So there'd been a storm in Iceland, the long waves, they crossed the Atlantic, crossed the equator, came down to the Ascension Island, and that's about 700 miles there. So they sent a telegram there to St. Helena, watch out, waves are coming, and then the waves come today. And you see if there's a storm up in the North Atlantic, and a storm there, and they congregate, and all this one wave on top of each other.
Right, yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen. But in general, I think, but big boats, you know, they're like 40, 50 feet, you know, and it's a lot of stuff getting thrown around, you know, and
in the Golden Globe, a lot of those boats got dismasted.
Yes. So small things are strong, you know, because when you scale up a thing, if you make it twice as big, the strength increases with the square of the scale, but the forces increases with the cube. So that's called a square cube law. And if you make it about twice as big, so the strength 4 times as big, but the force is 8 times as big. So that's why you can't build big structures.
Sure.
Like, I mean, a big bridge, that's like a limit, maybe a kilometer or something like that. And after that comes harder and harder, and a big building, maybe 500-600 meters, but I mean, you can't build it 2 kilometers high. However you do, you know.
Yeah.
So that's against the laws of nature. So small animals like ants, you know, you can just drop it. Or a cat, you can drop from the 2nd floor and it falls down and looks around like a rat and things like that.
Yeah.
But bigger things, you know, the bigger they got, the more less strong they are. So this is a little bit about the capsize. Huh?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think?
Yeah, thanks for explaining it. I think a lot of people are afraid of like a smaller boat, thinking that they're more dangerous. But there's that.
Because there's more money in big boats, you know. So they say, well, buy more boats, you know, and all the advertisements, you know, that's for big boats. And
sometimes there's an initial discomfort of the smaller boat and the waves, the smaller waves. But when the waves get big enough, even a big boat's uncomfortable.
I'm not
you know?
really sure, you know, because that kind of motion on a big boat, you know, I've been on you know, cargo boats and stuff like that, and you know, you go up like that slowly, and then they wait a bit like that, and the stomach turns around a few times, and then it goes down, you know, and he's like that, and then stop. I mean, the human mind is not made for that kind of slow motion. We are more made for like riding on a horse and running on a hill, you know. So
I kind of know what you mean. Like when I did my Hawaii crossing, the boat moved kind of violently. It was like and I got used to that, you know, and I was fine with that. But then I went and sailed on someone else's like a Baba 30, and it was like we were going like a lot more smooth, and all of a sudden I get like seasick, and I was like, just on a little day sail, I get seasick, and I crossed an ocean, and I did fine.
Yeah, so. And also, you know, a small boat, it goes slowly, and it doesn't get a lot of spray over it. Yeah. Because
you're not fighting the wave. I noticed that you watch a big boat going through waves, and it's just like just magnificent amounts of spray and everything, and you're just kind of going, not fighting the nature as much.
So, shall we stop here?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, thank you for this.